Are the US set for a catastrophic default? We've got Bitcoin breaking to the downside here. Are we headed lower? And could Bitcoin be in for the world of bother as the US head towards major economic catastrophe? Yes, these are the words of the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen about the debt ceiling crisis. We're going to cover that off. We're going to look at the price charts to find out where could we be falling to as an important price target from this latest move, and much more. Smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe as always. If you want to trade in these moves, you can do so using Bybit or MEXC, both platforms I personally use to trade. Links in the description. Those are affiliate links which support the channel but give you some amazing bonuses in turn. Now, as you guys know, we were following the symmetrical triangle pattern. We spoke about it yesterday. We said look to the left, right? Look to the left for support. First one has not held. We look to the second one at around this level, which is 27,100, 27,200. Can we bounce from there? If we can, then we can carry on a bullish move, right? It is possible that you liquidate all the overzealous shorts and you start working your way to the upside after a break to the downside on a symmetrical triangle. This is very common, but we do have other news weighing in on us, including the fact that we get CPI data tomorrow. I will give you a preview of that as well. Another way to look at this pattern is to, of course, monitor this huge channel which we've been in. Remember, we spoke about this. I've not changed the drawing. And we spoke about us potentially working our way to the bottom of the channel, which brings you to that 26,000 level as well. So we could be working our way to the bottom of this channel, hoping for support in this region. If we can get support in that region, that'd be a lovely position for me personally to DCA and buy a little bit more. Remember, if you manage to do the same here at the bottom when we were at 19,500, you were laughing all the way to the bank when you're back up at 31,000, right? You want to buy at the bottom ends of the channel, and you generally, and you want to wait till you get to the top side of the channel, right? Buy low, sell high. What else do we have in terms of a structure? Well, if you look at this time frame here, which is the 4-hourly chart, you can see that we've just formed a double top pattern. Now, when you look at a double top pattern with neckline around 27,800, what is the measured move? Well, you take the measured move like so, right? Again, we learned this in the TA course, ijaz.uk/TA, and you apply it to the breakout. And you can see that this price target brings you down to 25,700. If you've been following my video for a while over the last few weeks and even now months, we've been speaking about this notion that we could be coming down to retest our weekly EMA ribbon, which brings you down to 26,000. So it's okay if we come into this region. Remember, the bottom of your EMA ribbon on the weekly chart goes all the way down to 24,800. So you can even have a big move here down to 24,800 and you still hold above your weekly EMA ribbon. So that is why there's no reason to panic just yet here in this market. Yes, we are pulling back. That is expected. We have climbed from 19,500 up to just shy of 31. Yes, we face resistance at 30 and 31. Bitcoin's not managed to push beyond it and create that higher high. But now we need to reset. We need the RSI to reset. We need it to pull back a bit to build some strength to go mount another attack. If you look at this on the daily chart, what you can also see is that you are forming a head and shoulders pattern. If you take that green line as the neckline, you can see you're forming a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and these normally break to the downside as well. So there's a lot of indicators and chart patterns which are giving us a similar story. If we take the measured move of this move and apply it to the point of breakout, this would bring you down to 24,000. Now for me, I think 24,000 is quite painful. If we get to that level of 24,800, that's my final call. If we start losing our weekly EMA ribbon, this is no longer a move which we could be calm and feel okay about. Up until then, it's okay. It's a pullback into our weekly EMA ribbon. But anything more than that, a weekly close below that, is no good. In fact, if you take a look at the daily candles, something really important happened yesterday, which we warned about, and we did not want this to happen. Does anybody remember what it was? Yes, the close of that daily candle below our EMA ribbon. It's also slightly, right? It's a very tiny amount, but we officially closed that daily candle below the EMA ribbon. So we finally lost our daily EMA ribbon. And that is why on the daily time frame, this is no longer a healthy pullback. Right? I know it's marginal lines, but it's no longer a healthy pullback. It is actually us losing the daily EMA ribbon. Now, there's two things that can happen from here. We can either very quickly produce a daily bullish engulfing candle and return straight above our EMA ribbon. It doesn't look like at the time of recording Bitcoin wants to do that, and that would nullify this little fake out to the downside, right? We can straight away get back above and go past 31, and on we go. We carry on the upward trend. It doesn't look like that's the case. And that is why you need to zoom up to the weekly to say, okay, With us losing the daily EMA ribbon, we need to look for a bigger pullback on the weekly time frame. And that at the top of our EMA ribbon brings us to 26. So again, for me, no panic in this region, right? In this region from 26,000 down to 24,800 is an area where I'll be looking to DCA into my positions and build out my portfolio a little bit more. If we lose those levels, then we're set for a bigger pullback. We do not want to lose this weekly EMA ribbon. Until then, this is still a really nice move, okay? When we started our move from the depths of 15,500, we worked our way here, we consolidated for a bit, we went up, we consolidate for a bit. If it needs to pull back and retest these levels, right, from this area here, that's okay. Retest them in the EMA ribbon, collect support from the EMA ribbon, and then push higher, having reset the RSI, having built some momentum to then break through the tough resistance at 31,000. That's okay for me. What I don't want to see is us losing that weekly EMA ribbon. That could spell a little bit more disaster. And what could bring that disaster forth? There's a few things. The first is Janet Yellen warning that this debt ceiling issue could cause a huge problem. They're saying that this is something that could produce financial chaos. That's the wording she uses, financial chaos. It would drastically reduce the amount of spending and would mean that Social Security recipients and veterans just would not have enough money to pay the bills. Guys, this is major stuff. Okay, and the worst case scenario is it could lead to a possible US default because the US has reached its statutory debt limit over 31 trillion. So again, guys, this is political games that the US always plays. They always play this little chicken game heading towards the day where they need to increase the debt ceiling. Now, every other time the debt ceiling has been voted for and increased. But the problem for us investors is the political people over in Washington like to play this game every single time. As an investor, you have to play risk on and risk off. And this messes with the markets. So even though we can pretty much guarantee that they're going to increase the debt ceiling, it still affects yours and I's positions. It can still affect the price of Bitcoin. It will affect the dollar index and it will affect the standing of the US because different rating agencies will change their prediction of whether the US is going to default. And that plays with the stability of the dollar and it plays with the stability of the market. So even though we know all probability that the US will increase the debt limit, it still worries markets. And there has been an instance in the past where one of the rating agencies actually dropped the US's rating down a notch just because of the games they were playing and they left it too late. So this is going to an important deadline now with only 8 days left this month in which both the House and the Senate are scheduled to be in the session at the same time. So they've only got 8 more meetings where they've got to figure this out between them and either raise it or suspend it. And until then, this is going to lead to more turbulence in the market. So in other words, very, for us in terms of Bitcoin, expect volatility. Until this debt ceiling issue is resolved, expect volatility. Do not expect us to just go to the moon. You should not be surprised by this pullback from a technical perspective, but also from a fundamental perspective, you should not be surprised as well. We also then have our CPI reading tomorrow. We will be covering that off together as well. Okay, we're going to get a much anticipated April CPI reading. Now, why is this important? Well, the majority of the market has gone ahead and said, you know what? The last 25 basis points we got last week, the interest rate hike by Jerome Powell, that is going to be the last one. 89% of the market have priced in that that will be the last one and we will get a pause at the next meeting. But what if CPI says it's not going to play games? What if CPI comes in and disappoints? Now here's the good news. The market haven't priced in any crazy expectations. So last month we had 5% on the headline inflation rate. The consensus for this time round is 5% again. So the market hasn't priced in this crazy expectation that inflation's going to fall. They just want it to come in at 5% again. Now, if we take a look at the core inflation rate, which came in at 5.6% last time, they're expecting this to drop to 5.5. So again, the market is not asking for a lot. Similarly with the month-to-month, it came in at 0.385. They're expecting 0.4, so they're even allowing this to notch up slightly on the month-over-month run rate on inflation. But here's where the concern is. If we get a slight miss when the markets haven't priced in much, right? Like they're being generous in their expectations. Like we don't expect inflation to come down on the month-on-month and very tinily on the core inflation. Then if it misses that, then we could see some pain in the market. So tomorrow's going to be an important day. We will be covering that live together. Bitcoin is in a precarious position. There are important levels. Guys, do not just think we're going to fall straight down to the crazy levels. There are important support levels that come in. Let me just drop this down to the 4-hourly so you guys can see where we are now. If I show you guys, is this. We've lost 27,700, right? That's the level, the dotted line I've got there. Now you look to the downside and you see where are the next support. You've got horizontal support at 26,200, then you've got 25,000, okay? And you've got this pivot point. So if I show you on the other diagram once more time, you can see here, we are trying to hold at this pivot point. If we lose that one at 27,200, then you look to 26,000 level, then you look at 25,000. But just to call 25,000 off the cuff, no. Follow the data, be data-led. I mean, there's loads of people that would just be shouting out random numbers, Bitcoin to 12,000, Bitcoin to 18,000. Just follow the data, guys. Do yourself a favor, follow the data on the smaller time frames, and then work your way back up like we've just done to the higher time frames. If you want to learn how to do TA like we've just done, ijaz.uk/TA. If you want to trade, Bybit, MEXC, links in the description. Get yourself set up and practice with some play money. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.